Hello, and welcome to Region Locked Light. Platformer titles released around the turn of the millennium were no rare sight, with several of the most critically acclaimed games of the genre releasing towards the late 1990s. The next generation of platforms expanded their traditional audience, encompassing darker themes. One of the lesser-known games released back in 2001 was the PAL-exclusive Evil Twin Cyprien's Chronicles. Evil Twin was developed by In Utero and published by Ubisoft on the PlayStation 2 and Windows, as well as being published by Big Ben Interactive on the Sega Dreamcast. The game plays like any standard 3D platformer, with clear inspirations from the German Expressionism movement in film. It follows the story of a young orphan boy named Cyprien, starting out on his birthday, where he is joined by his friends Dave, Joey, Vince, and Steve. Cyprien's reaction to the party is one of detachment and morosity, justified by his past. Cyprien's presence within the orphanage comes from his parents dying on his birthday, leaving him to feel alone in the world. After returning to his room in a state of depression, Cyprien is greeted by his teddy bear Lenny, who has been given life through Cyprien's imagination. Becoming increasingly aggravated by the barrage of questions he is receiving, Cyprien becomes overwrought with dark, vehement thoughts, striking back at Lenny by reminding him that he is nothing but a toy and condemning him and his world underbed to oblivion. Little does Cyprien know, by giving into his sinister thoughts, a darkness has swept over the orphanage, causing Lenny to disappear while shadows emerge and take his friends. Regaining consciousness, Cyprien finds himself alone in the world of Underbed. Here he meets Wilbur, a friend of Lenny's. Wilbur explains that the world he is inhabiting didn't always appear this way. It was a world not dissimilar to Cyprien's before a wave swept it all away and a tower appeared known as Lauren Dareth. At this time, a being known as the Master took control of the world, and the people became powerless against his armies. The Master then manipulated the people of the world by erasing traces of the past and entrusting a key known as the Great Zippet to the citizens of Demi Island. In an attempt to take back control, Lenny sought out the key, but was arrested before he was able to complete his mission. The Master then split the key into 4 pieces and spread it across the world of Underbed. And now it's up to Cyprien to free Lenny by obtaining all 4 parts of the Great Zippet. He soon discovers that the islands that survived the wave of darkness are ruled over by evil incarnations of his real-world friends from the orphanage. As previously mentioned, the game plays like most standard third-person platformer titles, with the player able to maneuver and jump around the stage. To attack enemies, the player can make use of a slingshot. It is also possible to enter a first-person view, where the player is able to make more precise shots or activate switches. The world is filled with a variety of collectible items, including basic health pickups, as well as items to fill up the player's Super Sip gauge. By filling this bar, it's possible to transform into Cyprien's imaginary superhero state, Super Sip, a character that he created whilst playing with his friends in the real world. Super Sip is capable of firing long-range fireball attacks, causing more damage than his standard slingshot. While the game's first publication was on the PlayStation 2 in 2001, it was initially intended for release 2 years prior. This initial planned release was simply entitled Evil Twin, and before that the story was conceived as an animated series. Julie Salzman, the game's marketing manager, stated, "To start with, Evil Twin was intended for television, with a series of animated films whose themes explored childhood fears in a harrowing and distorted atmosphere. Faced with the magnitude of the project and the technical skills involved, and thanks to the advice of a TV producer, we turned towards the game medium." Through a long stage of planning and creation, the game's Dreamcast publication came in 2002, and was one of the final games published on the platform. In early previews of the game found in Next Gen magazine, it was revealed that the title would boast special features in the Dreamcast release. This included downloadable costumes as well as 4 VMU minigames. While never making it to the final release, these minigames were published online after the fact by Omar Cornett, the developer of these minigames. He stated that due to complications with development, they were likely left out of the game's retail launch. The VMU games included Paper Attack, Swampy, Fat Rain, and Glucky Labby. Paper Attack is a simple arcade-style shooter. Swampy is a puzzle game in which the player must navigate a frog on a set of lily pads, touching each lily pad once and only once. Fat Rain requires the player to throw a ball at an enemy who is constantly vomiting food which must be caught. Oh, I get it. Fat Rain. And Glucky Labby is a labyrinth navigation game using a 3D view, though it was never finished. It's possible that complications in development led to delays, causing the team to fall back on their plans to release the title outside of the PAL markets. Due to delays, the Dreamcast release was handled by Big Ben Interactive, a firm known for being one of the last to publish titles for the system in Europe after the console was discontinued. Reviews praised the game's overall art direction and the musical compositions of Bertrand Ellard, but it was slated for its poor controls. In Utero, a Canadian development studio, only ever released a few games, with Evil Twin being their last one. It's possible that the long set of delays and poor sales sent the studio into a financial state that saw them closing their doors, thus making them unable to localize the game for an American market. Thanks for watching. Did you manage to play this game? Are you also from Europe? Let's try that again. Thanks for watching, and be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you really enjoyed it, why not consider subscribing to the channel for more videos. My name's Greg. You already know that because it's written in the title. Shazam.